Today we will be revising is typically and strictly. Looks like many people are absent, huh? Neha is there. Who is absent? Aparna is anyway ill. She's not going to come. Sanvi may join suddenly. So what we will do is that we will. Don't expect me to again write this reaction, this reaction, this reaction. We're not going to do that. Those entire reactions database is with you. Then we are now going to prepare for the exams, and typically the NCERT syllabus way. Okay, so whatever points I touch today, make sure you read those points, and the strategy goes the same. Points that I touch will be typically NCERT oriented. CBSE's publisher is NCERT. So I'll write NCERT oriented. Make sure that is being studied from Lakshmi Singh notes, all that we have seen in our previous video, because this is the third time we are hitting this chapter. Please understand, okay? And then we will go to question bank. Today I'll be handing you a question bank of science, which will be science. It has bio and everything. So children, understand one more thing. Maths, it's this Sunday we are going to hit 1 week. After that we are no more in real numbers. This Sunday we're getting into polynomials. So our target in maths is 4 chapters per month. Then science, obviously, today we will give another class to chemical reactions. Similarly, like reflection, we have not done any problem in reflection. We just had Gyan. So we have to have reflection problems also. Now, when you do problems out here in science, you have to have case-based, which will be giving birth to MCQs. Assertion and reasoning is very important. So the bank which I'm giving you will have a lot of assertion reasoning. Plus, I had once handed a data bank also for assertion reasoning. If not, kindly check on Skype, it will be there. I'll hand you a assertion reasoning data bank. Go into the data bank and do as much as possible. There will be a lot of MCQ. 50% of your paper is competency based. So yeah, come. 50% of your paper is competency based. So if you lose, try to be at 525. You also get time. 50% of your paper will be competency based, which means if you lose a MCQ question, one question, it doesn't pain you, but you are going to get 0 if it is wrong. 5 mark, 4 mark question may, it is subjective. Nobody can give you 0. आपको 2, 2.5, 3 मिल भी सकते हैं. But here it will be go, no go. And if it is 7 no goes, Mr. Rajiv Rastogi, big time to worry. It's your father's 1 month salary. एक 0 और कम कर दो. So MCQs are very important. 1 marker question. If you ask me literally, are you afraid of 1 markers? Like when we used to give our postgraduate examinations, there used to be 2 corrects in some question. If you do 1 correct, it is treated as wrong. And you don't know which is 2 correct. And sometimes if you mark 2 correct, but there are 1 correct, then also you get wrong. MCQs are very dangerous. And next year onwards, if you go for competitive, you will have a negative marking also. JEE जैसा 1.5, 0.25. ठीक है, चले फिर शुरू करते हैं. Don't expect, because all notes are there, all previous videos are there. I am not going to, I just bring something like this, and this is what I am going to cover up, and I think this is what will be important for us. So today's class focusing more on content, and plus we will see some, if time permits, 15 minutes, 4 sections. चलिए, let's start with chemical reaction. Now I'm going to talk something. If you find that is valuable, you can write. If not, also it's being recorded, so don't worry. Chemical reaction is a process where a chemical change takes place. New substances with new properties will be formed. A chemical change is always followed by what? Exchange of energy in the form of sound, light, or heat. And you will have new substances with new properties. That means if elements are reacting, they're going to form compounds, right? If elements are reacting, they're going to form compounds. And in reaction, you will always have a reactant and you will always have a product. Some of the questions that might be asked to you, does atoms change? No, a copper atom remains a copper atom. The way it was combined before the reaction and the way it gets combined after the reaction is different. So electrons rearrange themselves in a reaction. Copper does not change. For example, carbon reacts with oxygen to give us carbon dioxide. Has carbon changed? No. Carbon was a standalone atom, reacts with a molecule of oxygen and gives you 1 molecule of carbon dioxide. Now that 1 molecule of carbon dioxide will have properties completely different from carbon and oxygen. As a best example is hydrogen, highly explosive. oxygen a supporter of combustion, both chemically combine together to form what? Water. And water is a fire extinguisher. Completely different properties, right? And this sort of chemical reaction involves a chemical change, and a chemical change is usually not reversible by normal processes of applying, say, heat current. Now, you can't reverse it immediately by boiling, evaporation and all. So like burning of paper is a chemical reaction, okay, but cutting a paper into 5 pieces is a physical change. Curdling of milk is a chemical reaction, but milk को अगर आप 2-3 कटोरे में रखो, ice and water is a physical change, right? So we will be dealing with chemical reactions, and one of the aspects that we discuss here are the attributes or the features. The attributes, or we talk about the features. What are the features that are associated, or you can say the properties associated with a chemical reaction? I'm typically going the NCERT way now, okay, the properties associated. So whenever a chemical reaction happens, I can expect that there can be an evolution of gas, right? Evolution of gas. This thing will haunt you here, will haunt you in metals and non-metals, will haunt you itself at acid, bases and salt. Metals react with acid, dilute acid, to always liberate hydrogen gas. So whenever we'll talk about gas, in grade 10, 2 gases will be troubling us. One will be hydrogen and one will be carbon dioxide. Any carbonate product will give me carbon dioxide, and any acid will give me hydrogen. Hydrogens, again, there will be questions like case-based. Test of hydrogen, we always know pop sound, okay? If you get a lighted matchstick, then it will be a pop sound. Carbon dioxide is lime water. Lime water turns milky. और इसके बारे में भी थोड़ा जान लेते हैं. Lime water actually होता क्या है? From market, all we buy is tuna, which is calcium oxide. You react it with water, you form something called calcium hydroxide. So this is known as quicklime, this is known as slaked lime. मैं लिखूंगा नहीं, आपको याद होना चाहिए. Quicklime, slaked lime, calcium oxide, calcium hydroxide. बेस है ये, और ये बेसिक ऑक्साइड है. तो इसमें दूसरा चैप्टर भी हो रहा है. बेसिक ऑक्साइड reacts with water to form a hydroxide. Okay, calcium hydroxide. This is known as slaked lime. This calcium hydroxide, when it will react with carbon dioxide, then it will form CaCO3, which is calcium carbonate, also known as limestone, found also in eggshells. ठीक. And this is the principle of whitewashing. ये सब कोई भी चीज पूछ सकता है आपको. A painter buys calcium oxide from the market, mixes it in water, and this reaction is exothermic. चूना जब भी आप पानी में डालेंगे, बाल्टी गर्म हो जाएगा immediately, बक 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 बॉइलिंग आ जाएगा साथ साथ. This is exothermic. Then he will strain it with a water, with a cloth, and he will use this calcium hydroxide and he will brush your walls. It will react with the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and form calcium carbonate, which actually comes out as flakes later on. Right? This is the white substance. Is it clear? Right? Calcium carbonate, and this is usually a white PPT. This is a white precipitate, and this is what causes the clouding, and you write lime water turns milky. समझ में आया? और evolution of gas में कोई दूसरा सवाल हो ही नहीं सकता है. All questions will be hovering around hydrogen and CO2. So let's see hydrogen कहाँ कहाँ आ सकता है. Any metal, hydrogen will be any metal reacts with dilute HCl or any acid. For that purpose, any acid, obviously should be a mineral acid, and it will become what? Metal salt, and it will liberate hydrogen gas. Zinc plus dilute HCl, ZnCl2 plus H2. Displacement reaction, redox reaction, property of metal, property of acids. 4 जगह से ये सवाल आ सकता है आपको. सवाल क्वेश्चन वही है. So you should have some parental statements in your mind. Metal reacts with acid to produce metal salt and liberates hydrogen gas. ठीक है? Done. Okay, this is one property. आगे चलें. रवि नो रवि, तो गाड़ी नहीं जाएगा आगे. चलो आगे. Be fast. Next will be change in color. Change in color. Change in color we will always observe due to formation of certain salts or formation of certain precipitates. यहाँ पे कुछ बातें कर लेते हैं. जैसे आपको बोलेगा that this color was observed and this color. If you see anything related to yellow, then it indicates lead. Anything blue at your level, it will indicate a copper salt. Like CuSO4 is blue in color. I hope you know this, right? CuSO4, what is the color of CuSO4? Wrong, white. This is anhydrous. Hydrated copper sulfate will be colored. Metals and salts. Forgot? All hydrated salts are colored. Anhydrous salts are not colored. CuSO4.5H2O to be proper, ये है blue in color. Hydrated salts are blue in color. Cobalt paper, cobalt chloride के papers होते हैं. How do you detect the presence of water? Cobalt chloride को जैसे पानी में लगाओ pink हो जाता है वो. So any lead salt, like say, let's like say PbI2, ये सब yellow होता है. Change in color will also match something to formation of precipitate. आजू बाजू रहेगा ये दोनों. What is a precipitate? A precipitate is a substance or an outcome of a reaction or a product of a reaction that does not dissolve in solution and remains right at the bottom of the test tube, not suspended. Precipitate will remain at the bottom. Barium sulfate, precipitate. Lead, like the reaction between hydrogen iodide and lead iodide, formation of a salt called lead iodide. That particular reaction can qualify as change in color, can also qualify as formation of precipitate. ठीक है, ये हो गया. Change in color, formation of precipitate. Thing is, nobody will ask you what are the features of associated with an. I don't expect this year's CBSE to ask you. The question will be roaming around this particular topic. Okay. Then there is one more feature which we say, which is change of state. Change of state. Change of state, we can have hydrogen and oxygen, both gases, and when you react together, they form water, which is liquid. So you can observe change in state also. Or carbon as a solid reacts with oxygen as a gas and forms carbon dioxide, which is also a gaseous product. Is that fine? Right. तो चेंज ऑफ स्टेट भी देख लिया. अब जो चीज को इंपॉर्टेंट देखना है उसको थोड़ा टाइम लेके देखेंगे. दैट इज चेंज इन टेम्परेचर. चेंज इन टेम्परेचर, यहां पे आप लोग को गड़बड़ होना शुरू हो जाएगा. चेंज इन टेम्परेचर. सो अ रिएक्शन यूजुअली हैव reactants will always give you products. Reactants gives me products, right? Change in temperature means the temperature will rise. This discussion will lead to something called exothermic and endothermic. Okay, exo and endo. To understand exo and endo, let us first understand something called system. System is anything which is our point of interest. My cooking frying pan is my system. Anything around the frying pan is surrounding. Anything around is known as surrounding. Right? दिमाग लगाइए. If the system is having energy inside it, system is absorbing energy, such a process is known as endothermic. And if the system is releasing energy, okay, if the system is, that is called exothermic. In endothermic, system's temperature will go up. In exothermic, surroundings temperature will go up. This is one way to think, but these are a little bit confusing. Like for example, exo माने reaction होने के बाद, if you are in and around the reaction space, you will feel hot. You are not the system. Endo means system will feel the temperature. First example, melting of ice in the glacier. Endothermic process. What is the system? Glacier is the system. Glacier heat को absorb करता है, तभी वो melt हो रहा है. Heart नहीं मानता है, पर these are true facts. Cooking is not exothermic. Cooking is endothermic. Unless heat goes to the potatoes and paneer, they don't cook. sir, I also keep sweating. That's a different thing. That is due to convection. Then you are the system, you are absorbing heat also from the gas burner. But if you say cooking as a process, cooking is endothermic. Photosynthesis. What do we need for photosynthesis? What are the inputs? Carbon dioxide is an input, right? Water is an input, and sunlight. Sunlight is a form of energy. Photosynthesis is endothermic. Heat अंदर ले रहा है, बाहर क्या छोड़ रहा है? Oxygen and glucose. Obviously, oxygen and glucose. Respiration. Respiration is a combustion reaction. All combustion, respiration is a slow combustion. All combustion reactions are exothermic. Rusting will also be exothermic. हालांकि उसमें टेम्परेचर आपको पता नहीं चलेगा. And one of the way also of remembering is mexo-bendo. If you see that mexo's M stands for making. If bonds are being made, then the reaction will always be exothermic. C plus O2, new bonding formed CO2, mexo. Bendo, breaking. For example, H2O breaks down into H2 and O2 with the help of electricity. Energy को अंदर लिया. Thermal decomposition. What is thermal decomposition? Endothermic. Photo decomposition, endothermic. Electrolysis, endothermic. All these fall under bendo category. CaCO3. जैसा देखो, CaCO3. If you supply heat, it will form CaO plus CO2. Bendo, breaking of bonds. वहीं अगर हम C plus O2 करें तो ये आएगा CO2. यहां भी हीट देते हैं थोड़ा सा. Now people get confused. This heat is the activation energy for the reaction. If I keep coal in my house, I don't expect them to burn without my command or my action. To burn coal, you have to heat it. But this does not mean it is endothermic, because coal jalne ke baad will give you energy which is far, far high than this. With a matchstick, you are lighting up a barbecue, but the barbecue gives you energy which is much, much more than the matchstick. So ultimately, we say, if in higher grades, we say if the net of heat is on this side, net of heat. Do you understand net of heat? You might be supplying heat to start this reaction also, and the reaction gives you like a fuel. You burn the fuel, then the fuel gives you more energy. So if the net if it is on the side of the reactants, then it's a endothermic reaction. And if the net is on that side, it is a exothermic reaction. आगे example देखेंगे, समझ में आएगा. Is this gone clear in your head? Exothermics are when heat is evolved out of the system. Endothermic is when system takes in heat. Some of the thumb rules are: all combustions, exo. Respiration is combustion, slow combustion. Rusting is combustion, slow combustion, right? Photosynthesis, endo, because in photosynthesis you are seeing sunlight के बिना photosynthesis हो ही नहीं सकता है. All decomposition reactions, endo, right? Clear? There will be one more question called production of carbon monoxide. Many people think carbon plus oxygen gives you carbon dioxide. The halfway, if the oxygen is not sufficient, then it produces carbon monoxide. ये लेकिन एक्सो नहीं है, ये एंडो है. कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बनने के बाद हीट बाहर आता है. So till the time carbon monoxide is formed, it is endothermic. ठीक है? And if nothing is working in your favor, try to search mexo-bendo. Mexo-bendo में mexo समझ में आया ना? Making of bonds, exo. Breaking of bonds, endo. Clear? So this part is over then. इसमें हमें और ज़्यादा कुछ बात करने का नहीं है. चलें आगे. Okay. Next part we will be talking about representing a chemical equation. Okay. So we will be talking about how to represent a chemical equation. Nobody will ask you a definition about chemical equation. So chemical equation is a mathematical format in which you show how the reaction is taking place. Do you know the difference between, नहीं आता है तो अभी पूछ लो, बाद में मत पूछना, symbol and chemical formula? Do you know the difference or not? हाँ या ना? थोड़ा भी डाउट है तो पूछ लेना. Symbol always represents an atom. A symbol will never have any numeric part to it. Symbol cannot represent a molecule. For example, copper, for example, oxygen, these are symbol. Chemical formula always represents a molecule. This represents an atom. That means this has to represent an element. This represents a molecule. That means it represents a compound. Galat. Molecule can represent element also as well as compound also. How do you say, sir? O2. O2 is an element in molecular form, but this is a chemical formula. A chemical formula is like a recipe. 2 atoms of oxygen combine together to form 1 molecule of oxygen. And compound bole to CO2, which brings us to another thing, that all compounds are molecules, but all molecules need not be compounds. Molecules can represent atoms also. All the gases, N2, nitrogen, SH, sulfur, these are chemical formulas. Chemical formula will always be alpha numeric. एक नंबर रहेगा इसके साथ और एक अक्षर भी रहेगा, एक या दो अक्षर. Clear? When you represent a chemical equation, you are first supposed to show what are the reactants. Say C plus O2 gives me CO2. So C is carbon. This is in solid. O, sorry, नीचे तो नहीं लिखते, साइड में लिखते हैं. So carbon solid reacts with oxygen gas to give you CO2 gas. ठीक है. और भी इंफॉर्मेशन करने के लिए we show what is the energy inflow and outflow. So we are getting energy out here, right? Would you have to heat this equation? Yes, obviously you have to heat. Heat is shown by delta. The way we show sunlight is like this. This is shown as sunlight. This is shown as heat. Then electricity, you write it electricity. Then there can be also the presence of catalysts. If there is a catalyst, जैसे हमने कहाँ पे देखा था, we saw this in acidified K2Cr2O7 or KMnO4 or K2Cr2O7 in organic chemistry. Potassium dichromate. Photosynthesis also catalyst is chlorophyll. Right? We can use chlorophyll also, but I'm saying when you see in organic chemistry, if you remember esterification, we used to have acidified KMnO4 or K2Cr or alkaline acidified K2Cr2O7 or alkaline KMnO4. So what is a catalyst? A catalyst is a substance that expedites a reaction. Earlier we used to say alters the rate. No, expedites. A catalyst will always make the reaction faster. लिख के रखिए. Catalyst, if any, should also be shown. Catalyst will always increase the rate of the reaction. मतलब अगर, for example, saliva in our mouth, also known as salivary amylase, is an enzyme, and it works as a catalyst. If saliva was not there, the same digestion would not have taken 4 hours. It would have taken 20 hours for the human being to digest. So good, na, people would have eaten less. Right? So salivary amylase is also a catalyst. Biology में आप पढ़ोगे जितने सारे catalysts होते हैं. A catalyst always increases the rate. Now, for your knowledge, if something is there called an inhibitor, inhibitor is one which will decrease the rate of reaction. पहले हम लोग छोटे में पढ़ते थे catalyst ही पढ़ते हैं. Catalyst is something which alters the rate of the reaction. Not alters, it increases the rate of the reaction. And one good thing about catalyst is that it itself does not take any part in the reaction. Catalyst will remain unreacted. Hydrogenation of vegetable oils in the presence of nickel, platinum, palladium, as we had read in organic chemistry. So hydrogenation of vegetable oils, there also what happened? Alkene used to be given hydrogen in the presence of 200 degrees centigrade, nickel, platinum, palladium. What was the reaction all about? Dalda banate the vanaspati. So unsaturated used to become saturated. Nahi bhul sakte. You cannot forget. Unsats used to become sats. Fine, understood? Okay. Furthermore, things that we also show are, is there a formation of a precipitate? तो precipitate को ऐसे arrow से भी नीचे दिखाते हैं, PPT लिखते हैं. Then if there is dilute or concentrated, so we write DIL or concentrated. तो ऐसे हम informations छोड़ते हैं. Symbol, state, catalyst, then dilution, concentration, reactants. Children, I had also shared with you one complete list of ions, polyatomic ions. देखता हूँ किसको क्या पता है. Let me test. चलो बताओ. Nitrate. NO3. iron cannot be NO3 only. उसे सर पे कोई some बिंदी will be there ना. Nitrate, 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 nitrate. But सबसे पहले एसिड्स देखो, कुछ नहीं होगा, कुछ नहीं होगा. तुम लोगों ना उल्टा लटकाना चाहिए. क्या होगा इसमें? क्लोराइड, नाइट्रेट, हाइड्रोजन इज ऑलवेज H प्लस ना, SO4 2 minus, सल्फेट, PO4 3 minus, phosphate.
I said NO3 minus.
You said?
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Next Nobel Prize in your name. ठीक है? What is the only non-metallic cation? Polyatomic cation. All metallics are cation. आपको विश्वास नहीं होता है? Magnesium 2 plus, lithium 1 plus, calcium 1 plus, aluminium 3 plus. All metals are cations. All non-metals are anions. ये सब anions है, but these are known as polyatomic anions. There is only one polyatomic, non-metallic, polyatomic, non-metallic cation. कूदो कूदो. Ammonium. Ammonium is the only one. Ammonium chloride. If substance comes alone, the name is also as ide. Chloride, fluoride, iodide, oxide, carbide, nitride. छोटा वाला को क्या बोलते हैं? Slower oxidation state is known as us. Higher is known as ic. Cuprous, cupric, ferrous, ferric. होगा हलवा टाइट जब 11 में तब पता चलेगा. ठीक है, इस तरह याद रखिए. Okay, carbonic acid H2CO3. So carbonate ion is CO3 2 minus. इसका मैग्नीशियम से शादी होगा तो कैसा होगा? Mg. मैग्नीशियम is 2 plus, this is 2 minus. MgCO3. सोडियम के साथ शादी होगा Na2CO3. एल्यूमिनियम के साथ शादी होगा Al2CO3 whole twice. कितना बार समझाऊं? एल्यूमिनियम is 3 plus and CO3 is 2 minus. 3 और 2 में ये क्रिस क्रॉस होता है. Al2, so sorry, Al2CO3 whole twice. Now just check ना, इसका 3 plus रहता है, so it is plus 6. 2 minus, sorry, 2 minus into 2 into 3, so 2 minus this, it gives you minus 6. ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. बैलेंसिंग आता है कि नहीं? No, there is nothing called my method, your method. The book will not ask you do by my method, your method. You may get a question to balance. Generally they don't give. If they give you a question to balance, you try hit and trial, whatever. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then my method can always fall back as a savior to you. याद है ना? एक बार करके देखेंगे. ABCD वाला. You don't want to do one? चलो एक कर लेते हैं. हाँ बोलो, ऑक्टेन का फॉर्मूला क्या होगा? हाँ, octane. Octane is an alkane. Alkane's usual formula is what? CnH2n plus 2. 8 2s are 16 plus 2. कुछ भी नहीं हुआ तुम लोगों से. O2. Any hydrocarbon burns in oxygen to give you carbon dioxide plus water vapor. Agreed? We need to balance this equation. So we'll try our way how to balance this equation. Before starting the equation, always write A, B, C, D. Now try to balance the atoms. Let's take the atoms. We have got एक तरफ देखने से होता है, carbon is there, hydrogen is there, and oxygen is there. Advita, if you don't understand, let me know. A, B, C, D, we write it. Under normal circumstances, if we are balanced, how many carbons this side? 8A. And 8A should be equal to what? C. Right. Then let's look for hydrogen. How many hydrogens? 18A. 18A should be equal to what? 2D. Very good. And oxygen, dekho. Oxygen is how much? 2B. Should be equal to 2C plus D. 2C plus D. How many of you understood this step? How many did not understand? Dekho beta, if you are a balanced equation, then the count of carbon on this side should tally with the count of carbon on that side. It's a very nice way. So how many carbons on this side? 8A should be equal to how many? C. Okay. And how many hydrogen? 18A should be equal to 2D. And how many oxygen? 2B should be equal to C. 2C plus D. Understood? Now see which is appearing most. A is appearing most. So we say let A be equal to 1. If A is, now we will put our values. A, we have A, B, C, D out here. A, B, C, D. So A we have already assumed as what, beta? 1. That means C is equal to 8 times of A, which is 8. And 2D is equal to this. That means D is equal to 9A. Hai na? 2 9s are 18. So D is equal to 9A. So D becomes 9. And now we need to put the value of C. So 9 plus 2C should be equal to 2B. कुछ ही गड़बड़ी हुआ है. B. नहीं, decimal नहीं. 2C. C, oh, C we know the value. Oh, C we know the value. I was just, that's what worrying me. C is 8. So this is 16. Should be equal to 2B. 16 plus 9 is how much? 25. So B is equal to 25 by 2. Right? So we have got our values. We are good to fit them now. Let's fit them. So we'll fit them with this color. A is how much? 1. So ultimately it is 1C8 reacts with B. B is how much? 25 by 2. C का value कितना है? 8. D का value कितना है? 9. Now no molecule can be in fraction. So what do? We multiply the whole equation by the denominator 2. So finally it becomes 2C8H18 plus 25O2 gives me 16CO2 plus 18H2O. Let's now quickly check. Carbon on this side, how many? 16. On that side, 16. Carbon tallied. Hydrogen, 18 twos are 36. On that side, 36. Hydrogen tallied. Oxygen, 25 twos are 50. And on that side, 18 twos are 36 plus 16 twos are 18. Sorry. So it is 16 twos are 32 plus 18, which is also equal to 50. Oxygen tallied. Okay. You do with your process. अगर फंस गए, गड़बड़ हो गया. If you want to practice some, I had given you that ICSE book screenshot also. You can practice from there also. Balancing equation. If you want to balance equation, straight away pick up, go to Google and type ICSE grade 9 balance chemical equation worksheet PDF grade 9. Okay. You can go to Google and type ICSE grade 9 chemical equation balancing PDF मार के दे देना, बस आ जाएगा. उसको करते रहना जितना ज्यादा. You will get much more tougher equations. ये easy नहीं होता है. ठीक है? Done. Fine. चलो. Our next is reaction types. 15 minutes. उससे ज्यादा नहीं देख सकते. What are the reaction types? Number 1, combination reaction. What is a combination reaction? 2 or more substances combine together to form one substance. ऐसे रिएक्शन क्या होने चाहिए? मेकिंग ऑफ बॉन्ड्स. मेक्सो, ये एक्सोथर्मिक होने के चांसेस ज्यादा नहीं होएगा. ही मेक्सो है ना, मेकिंग ऑफ बॉन्ड्स. सो दिस विल बी एक्सोथर्मिक. 2 or more reactants combine together to form one reactant. Combination. Example देख लेना. C plus O2 CO2 सीधा. Okay. Next comes decomposition. Decomposition will always be bendo, so energy will be required. You will see 3 types of decomposition: thermal, photo, and using electricity, which is known as electrolysis. Pyrolysis में organ चला गया, electrolysis में bonding चला गया. So here typically it will be in AB, energy intensive process. So you have to give energy. It will form A plus B. Calcium carbonate, water. Photo का एक example दो. Silver bromide, AgBr. If you pass electricity, it will form Ag plus Br2. Don't write Br, हाँ. Bromine is a gas. ये देखो, ये आना है आपको normally. AgBr. AgBr, if you pass sunlight, then it will form Ag plus Br2. That means it should be 2AgBr, 2Ag plus Br. और इसको properties में लिखाएंगे. AgBr कैसा है? This is aqueous. This is solid. This is gas. What are the two elements which are gaseous? There are only two liquids in the whole periodic table. What are they? Mercury and bromine. One of them is associated with non-metal, one is associated with metal. Okay? Mercury is the only metal which is liquid at room temperature. Bromine is the only non-metal which is at. Bromine का कलर क्या होता है? ए ब्राउन. वो गोल्डनिश येलो. ब्लू नहीं बोल रहे, कुछ भी जबरदस्ती. ब्राउन और गोल्डनिश येलो एक जैसा है. गोल्डनिश येलो कॉपर का कलर होता है. ब्रोमीन का कलर वो जो मेहंदी है ना हाथ में, वो है रस्ट का कलर. कुछ भी golden is. I like that, you know. There are some people in corporate offices, like, you know, that's because boss's wife has said that this is pink, but it's actually blue. Buttering करते करते ऐसा हाल हो गया. Exactly, sir. It is blue, but has that pink touch, you know. It is little bit peppy, sir. That pink you can see, sir. तो मैम ने पिंक बोल दिया है ना, तो पिंक होना ही है. प्रमोशन अटक जाएगा नहीं तो. ठीक है, चलें आगे. डिकम्पोजिशन इतना तक तो ठीक है. इसके बाद से कहानी शुरू होती है. इट कम्स टू डिस्प्लेसमेंट. यस, डिस्प्लेसमेंट विल हैव टू टाइप्स, सिंगल एंड डबल. रिमेंबर, डबल डिस्प्लेसमेंट्स में कभी भी रेडॉक्स नहीं होता है. सिंगल में रेडॉक्स होता है. सिंगल, a higher reactive element displaces a lower reactive element. One of the reaction that you can always get is zinc reacts with copper sulfate aqueous solid to give you zinc sulfate aqueous plus copper. एग्जाम में आपको ऐसे लिख के दे देगा, copper solid reacts with ZnSO4 aqueous gives you CuSO4 aqueous plus Zn. ये नहीं होता है. Remember the reactivity series. Please stop calling me a zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. Zinc is higher. Copper में औकात नहीं है कि zinc के गर्लफ्रेंड को भगाए. Zinc में औकात है कि copper के गर्लफ्रेंड को भगाए. Displacement, single displacement, double displacement हमें याद रखना. ये हो गया क्या? मैं तुझको भगा लाया. मैं और double displacement क्या हो जाएगा? This one will pair up with there. There's just exchange of metal and ion. Typically, you will have a metal 1 with a chloride salt reacts with a metal 2 with a sulfate salt. You will get, this is double displacement. Okay, you will get metal 1 with the sulfate and metal 2 with the chloride. In this type of reaction, redox will never be seen. Redox will be seen only here. Combination reactions are redox. Yes, all reactions are redox except double displacements. ठीक है? Now come to redox, the most stylish one. Redox, reduction, oxidation. First go by the NCERT way. What is oxidation? Addition of oxygen. So let us make the platter. Platter is very important in this. Let's make the platter. हम लोग 3 कॉलम और बनाएंगे. ओके, book teaches us oxidation and this is reduction. The book teaches us only in the form of oxygen and hydrogen. If addition of oxygen is oxidation, then removal of hydrogen is also oxidation, and if removal of oxidation reduction, then this. लेकिन इसमें ज्यादातर क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने में फट्टू हालत हो जाएगा, आपसे नहीं होगा. So another way is to see it by the method of electrons. In electrons, always remember oil. Oxidation is loss of electrons. Oxidation is loss of electrons. So oil, OIL, and reduction is rig. Reduction is gain of electrons. Reduction is gain of electrons. This way you will be, so whenever oxidation is happening, loss of electrons, and this is gain of electrons. And the most easiest way is oxidation state. Whenever there is an increase in oxidation state, increase means algebraic. Algebraic means, we'll see some examples. 1 to 2 is an increase, -2 to 0 is also an increase, 0 to 1 is also an increase, and whenever there is a decrease, again algebraic, 2 to 0 is a decrease, 0 to -2, -1 to -2 is also a decrease. ये सबसे बढ़िया वे है. देखो जैसे एक एग्जांपल देखते हैं, C plus O2 is CO2. Now somebody tells me find who got oxidized and who got reduced. हम लोग जनरली बोलते हैं इधर भी दो आना चाहिए, then we are able to show that Bose oxidation reduction है. यहाँ पे easy है. Look, carbon is appearing alone. Try to absorb. Okay, carbon is appearing alone, so carbon's oxidation state is 0. Oxygen's oxidation state is always -2. Oxygen is always -2. If you look out here, there are two oxygen, so what should be the state of oxygen? -4. So in order to make it neutral, carbon has to be +4. 0 से +4 हुआ, increase in oxidation state, carbon got oxidized to carbon dioxide, whereas oxygen got -2 से -4 हुआ, तो इसका हुआ है reduction. After that we should also know to say what is oxidizing agent and what is reducing agent. Substance who got oxidized is the reducing agent. If I became bad by mixing with Sarthak, then Sarthak is the badifying agent, and by mixing with me he got good, so I am the goodifying agent for him. Have you understood? Ulta hota hai lekin na. And this will be known as the oxidizing agent. So how to understand it? Look, carbon reacted with oxygen. In the process, carbon got oxidized, okay, and it formed carbon dioxide. Who was responsible to make it form carbon dioxide? Oxygen was responsible, so he is the oxidizing agent. Oxygen got reduced. Therefore, who reduced oxygen? Carbon reduced. And carbon in metals and non-metals, we have read. Carbon is an excellent reducing agent. Carbon in the form of coke, not pine wala. What is coke? Take coal, then destructive distillation of coal. Keep on heating coal, take out all volatile parts, coal gas, coal dirt, coal tar, everything gone. Now what is remaining is coke. And coke immediately burns. And coke is an excellent reducing agent. And it is used for reducing what? Iron from its oxide to iron metal. There are two types of oxides. You have to get an oxide. Remember metals and non-metals. Oxide is further reduced to metal. To get an oxide, you can have either a sulfur ore or a carbonate ore. Carbonate has a C, so undergoes the process of calcination. Sulfur undergoes the process of roasting. Roasting is like chicken roast, which happens in the kitchen in the presence of oxygen. So roasting is in presence of oxygen. Calcination is in absence of oxygen. Both the outputs will give you an oxide. Reduce the oxide, get the metal. ठीक है, एक और रिएक्शन देखते हैं. जैसे मान लो यही रिएक्शन देखते हैं. Zn plus CuSO4 gives me what? Okay, can I rub this part so it will make it more cleaner now? We will see this with both the format. Okay. Right. Let's see this in both the formats. Let's take this reaction. Zn reacts with CuSO4. It forms ZnSO4 plus Cu. We're supposed to identify the oxidizing agent, the reducing agent, what got oxidized, what got reduced. So we'll try it with both the process, electron process as well as oxidation. Electron process is a little bit complicated, but becomes easy when you study electrochemistry. Oxidation तो easy है. Electron process देखते हैं. So electron process में आपको सबसे पहले क्या करना है? You have to find out this is at zero state. This is sulfate is always -2. How do I know sulfate is -2? Sulfuric acid H2SO4. Hydrogen +2, so sulfate should be -2. ये सब मुंह में रहना चाहिए. So copper is in +2 state. There again -2, so zinc +2, and here copper is in 0. ठीक है ना? अभी ये -2 ही था, ये अभी भी -2 है. बेवफा गर्लफ्रेंड, पहले इसके साथ घूमता था, अभी इसके साथ घूम रहा है. लड़ाई झगड़ा तो इन दोनों के बीच में हो रहा है. इसको क्या बोलते हैं? स्पेक्टेटर आयर, ओनली वॉचिंग द मजा. So let's see the half reactions. How should the half reaction be? Zinc was at 0 state. That means zinc must have lost 2 electrons and so it became +2. Obviously, though इलेक्ट्रॉन खो दिया, माय सर यूज्ड टू टीच मी लाइक दैट, ये कलंकित हो गया, मांगलिक लड़की है अभी, इसका शादी किसके साथ होता? माय सर वाज मल्लू सर, मांगलिक का शादी मांगलिक के साथ होता, ये मांगलिक आएगा अभी, आप ये देखो, कॉपर +2, ये जिंक का मदर बोलता मैं किसके साथ इसका शादी कराएगा, कॉपर बोलता है मैं हूं ना +2, मैं ये दोनों इलेक्ट्रॉन को पी जाता और कॉपर बन जाता. नाउ पुट योर फॉर्मूला. ऑक्सीडेशन इज लॉस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, ये ऑक्सीडेशन है, जिंक ने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स खोया ना, और कॉपर क्या हुआ? गेन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स. सो दिस इज रिडक्शन. ऑक्सीडेशन, reduction. So who is the reducing agent? Zinc is the reducing agent. Who is the oxidizing agent? Copper is the oxidizing agent. Have you understood? Let us now try to see it from oxidation state formula, which is much more easier. Oxidation state is very easy. 0 has become +2. Increase in oxidation state, algebraic increase. Therefore, it is a oxidation. In your CBSE grade 10, you'll write zinc forming zinc sulfate is a process of oxidation. Then where is reduction? Sir, +2 has become copper sulfate transforming to copper is the process of reduction. Who reduced copper? Who put her in? Oh, hickory dock एक था ना poem जैसा. Zinc is the reducing agent. Reduce मतलब अच्छा बच्चा बनेगा. देखो कलंकित बच्चा से अच्छा बच्चा से गंदा बच्चा. Oxidation is always गंदा बच्चा. Reduction is always अच्छा बच्चा. जीरो स्टेट में. एक एग्जांपल था आयोडीन का लेके, उसमें एक ही में रिडक्शन है, एक ही में ऑक्सीडेशन है. यू रिमेंबर, इज इट देयर? देयर इज वन रिएक्शन, जस्ट सी विद आयोडीन, दैट्स अ स्टाइलिश रिएक्शन. जस्ट चेक योर नोट्स, एनीवन हैज इट? One oxidation reduction, there was one note that I had given one reaction. Are we able to understand? It is much easy. वो oxygen देखना नहीं है. Here you don't see any oxygen. So that's a bakwas method. You go back.
H2S plus I2.
हाँ, H2S plus I2. Okay, let's take that reaction. Very good. आ जाओ. विवान लाइफ में कुछ तो एक अच्छा काम किया है. What I saw it. You don't even have the notes. H2S. Okay, come here. H2S, hydrogen sulfide. What is the beauty of hydrogen sulfide? Smells like rotten eggs. It's a gas which has odor. Again, another feature of chemical reaction. Okay, H2S reacts with I2.
Results
2HI. HI का नाम क्या होगा? Iodide. Iodine is alone. Hydrogen iodide plus S. Very stylish reaction. Do we see oxygen out here? No oxygen. तो ये फंडा तो ऐसे ही काम नहीं करेगा, पर हम हमारे फंडे से काम करेंगे. आइए, आदिया, तुमने भी ये सब मूवी नहीं देखा था ना? तुम भी तो इसके बाद आए थे. ये सब देखा था? हाँ, रिवीजन में देख लिया था शायद. You had seen it. ओके, चलो अब देखते हैं इसमें ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट कैसा है. आयोडीन न्यूट्रल है यहाँ पर, स्टैंडिंग अलोन, सो आयोडीन इज 0 आउट हियर. सल्फर यहाँ में अलोन है तो सल्फर इज 0. हाइड्रोजन कितना होता है? +1, यानी कि यहाँ पे हाइड्रोजन इज +2, सो सल्फर मस्ट बी -2. ओके, हाइड्रोजन इज ऑलवेज +1, 2 हाइड्रोजन, सो +2. बेसिकली हाइड्रोजन इज द स्पेक्टेटर आउट हियर. देखो हाइड्रोजन यहाँ भी +2, यहाँ भी +2 होके बैठा है. 1 हाइड्रोजन इज +1, 2 हाइड्रोजन्स, so it becomes what? And 2 iodines means -2. अब देखो, iodine from 0 became -2, which is reduction. Sulfur from -2 became 0, increase, which is oxidation. इसको तेल लेने गया, तुम इससे निकाल ही नहीं सकते unless your concept is very strong with hydrogen format. Have you understood how we found it? Let's look at here once again. Okay, let's look at here. So if we see iodine, if you see iodine, I2 was at a 0 state and it got converted to -2. You had 2 I's, -2. So 0 to -2. 0 to -2 means reduction in your oxidation state. Therefore, this is the process of reduction. Clear? Let's look at sulfur. Sulfur here is at -2 and here we find sulfur at 0. So -2 to 0 is an increase in oxidation. Algebraic, always go by algebraic. So this is oxidation. अगर ये समझ गया है, इसके बाद भी आप जीरो लाते हैं, तो फिर talking to you and pouring water on sand are equivalent activities where sand doesn't wet but the water finishes. Have you understood that? That is very important. That is a very complicated equation. अगर इसको आपने solve कर दिया, तो you can solve anything. Done. I don't think there is anything more left. Next window, done. Okay, last is corrosion and rancidity. What is corrosion? Corrosion is what are the ways of preventing oxidation? ऐसे question आ गए तो किसी को good luck. Corrosion रोकने के लिए क्या क्या होता है? Process, painting, galvanizing, and electroplating, oiling. You can apply layer of oil and grease. Rancidity is what? Rancidity is food becoming stale due to oxidation, slow oxidation. BHA and BHT and BHA. Butyl hydroxytoluene. So these are antioxidants that we give in food. Apple when cut changes its color to this is because of oxidation. फूड को ऑक्सीडेशन से प्रिवेंट करने के लिए क्या करेंगे? रेफ्रिजरेटर में रखिए, बैक्टीरिया नहीं आएगा, और पुट देम इन एयर टाइट कंटेनर्स और पैक देम विद नाइट्रोजन सो दैट देयर इज नो ऑक्सीडेशन. एंड ऑफ द डे यू हैव टू कट द ऑक्सीडेशन रेट. Rust is Fe3O4.XH2O, and that X depends upon, like say if your head was of iron, you have so much of hair, so your rusting will be more. So in your case the X will be more. है ना? I can give a better example. In my case, my rusting will be less. समझ में आया? Rusting is iron reacts with oxygen, Fe plus O2, FeO. That is called ferric oxide. Iron is in +2 oxidation state. Oxygen is -2, iron is +2. FeO reacts again with O2 to form Fe2O3. That is called iron 3 oxide. O3, looks here. FeO, this is -2, this is +2. Fe2O3. O3 means -2. So this is becoming how much? -6. So you have to make it +6. So Fe2, if it is +6, that means oxygen, iron is at +3 state. Have you understood this or not? Oxygen is -2, 3 oxygen makes it -6. So 2 iron has to be -6. That means each iron is +3. This is +2. So if we write this, we will write it as iron 2 oxide. This is iron 3 oxide. Both of them mixed together. उसका reaction ऐसा रहता है. FeO plus Fe2O3 in the presence of water, oxygen, that is called moisture, will finally form Fe3O4.XH2O. This is rust. Iron 2 oxide reacts with iron 3 oxide to form iron. क्या मतलब कुछ आदान प्रदान चल रहा है? Iron 2,3 oxide. This is called iron 2,3 oxide. This is a mixture of iron 2 and iron 3. So it is called iron 2,3 oxide. ठीक है? Done. चलो. Now let us have a look of what I am going to share with you, and I'll give you after this class. Okay? So this is the first time I'm trying all these things. So bear with me if something goes wrong. So. No, you have been through so much that I know, but I was just looking at. Okay, let's see this. Okay, there will be 3 PDFs I'll share with you. One is a huge bank. One is a huge bank of everything. Okay, this was open, so whether it will take some time. Let it load, because loading from a antique species. You know what is the capacity of this? This you will not get. I can sell it. This is a 512 MB pen drive, not to be available now. 512 MB. It is rare species. I've got 1 GB with me, 2 GB pen drives. Yeah, I should keep them. Floppies hai. 512 MB in 1968. IBM, when they manufactured 512 MB memory, they had to have a forklift crane to lift it on the truck. See how much advanced science has done. There's a picture of it in Google. You can go and Google 512 MB IBM aircraft lift. So they are lifting it with a crane. This is 512 MB, and now this is rare species. Your minimum will be how much? 32 GB, 16 GB, 64 GB, 128.
512
IBM RAM aircraft loading. You can just put it. Okay, let's see it. Has it loaded? Not yet loaded. That time Zoe and me were watching. It loaded so nicely.
This.
This is 512 MB. It's being loaded by crane. Okay, let me see. Maybe 3-4 files have opened together. Okay, these are case-based question. Let's see this question. Okay, corrosion. Now, like this is one. This is a compilation of few questions. There is one booklet. Children, very important is assertion and reasoning question. That booklet has biology to everything. You are not only reading these with me, you have to read your biology also. When we have our exams, I will give you biology stuff also. आप बायोलॉजी भी लिखेंगे 3 घंटे के एग्जाम में यहाँ पे, and you have to read your social studies also, and don't forget your English and second language. So don't that you just read these 2 subjects with me. She's already making face what life is all. Okay, let's read this. Corrosion is the deterioration process of a material due to reactions with its surroundings. टाइम जाता है पढ़ने के लिए, इसलिए एग्जाम में जब पढ़ेंगे you know how to read. One is skim, and just skim it once. ये corrosion से है, तो mind corrosion, and then is read seriously. वो इंग्लिश में ज्यादा जरूरी होता है. Corrosion is a natural process, just like water flows to the lowest level. All the natural processes tend towards the lowest possible energy. Obviously, lowest energy means you are more stable. Okay. Then, corrosion can be defined in many ways. Some definitions are very narrow and deal with a specific form of corrosion, while others are quite broad and cover many forms of deterioration. Corrosion's effect in our daily lives are both direct in that corrosion effects. Again, see, it has got hung up. Okay, right. Okay, based on it, चलिए हो गया, बहुत पढ़ लिया. आंसर करो. Which of the following method is not used for the prevention? Heating, painting, plating, greasing. Copper gets corroded in the presence of. Copper is a very stylish thing. Copper's corrosion. 1 minute. 1 minute. This is grade 8 question. Copper's corrosion. Copper, when it corrodes, all the AC pipes that you have, and you see, copper never corrodes as rust. Copper's corrosion will be green in color. It is a mixture of copper carbonate and copper hydroxide. Grade 8. Carbon dioxide. देखा, यही हो जाता तुम्हारा. मिस्टर राजीव रस्तोगी 1-0 कम कर दे. Not big. ठीक है, next. The color of the layer that deposits on silver ornaments is, yeah, silver takes a black one. Corrosion can be prevented by alloying, tinning, and all the above. Rust is chemically, ये देखो आ गया तुम्हारा Fe3O4.XH2O. हाँ आ गया. Question number 2. Some madam has prepared this paper. चलो ये करो. This one. Just like you get Instagram reel in internet, I get this. I get Instagram reel also. Plus I get this also. All is your Googling skill. है ना? केमिकल रिएक्शन से स्पेलिंग रॉन्ग गया है. हाँ हाँ, डाइजेशन ऑफ फूड. सो देव इसका इतना लिंक नहीं रहता है, आप ऐसे ही आंसर कर सकते हो. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Listen, when carbon dioxide is passed through lime water, very good. Whenever chemical reactions occur, we get to see. Then consider the reaction sulfur plus oxygen. State of sulfur dioxide in this is gaseous. Sulfur dioxide is a gas. Okay. Which of the following processes involves chemical reactions?
No, keeping petrol in the tank.
Involves chemical reactions. Storing of oxygen gas, high temperature. Copper will get oxidized in this case. Copper at higher temperature. Okay. This is what? Petrol. This is a physical change. Petrol will evaporate out. टैंकी खोल के सर कार्ड करा, वो लेके फिर कार्ड में मार रहे हैं, तब तक वो खुला है ना. यू आर इडियट. फर्स्ट द फ्यूलिंग इज डन, क्लोज इट, एंड नेवर टेक योर कार फॉर फ्यूलिंग in the broad sunlight. You should always fuel early morning, and when you drain your engine oil, you should always drain when you have run 10-20 kilometers so that the engine is hot, the viscosity of the oil is least, and the entire oil drains off. Common sense. Acha, chaliye. So I'm not going too much deep into it. I'll be sharing this with you. I want to have a look. I want you to have a look at the second one. The second one was class 10 question bank. This might take some time to load, so this might not go in. This is a KV Ahmedabad region developed booklet. It has everything: physics, chemistry, mathematics. It is a huge book, some around 100 and some pages. So right from small question, chapter wise sorted. इसको भी कर लिया, लाइफ जिंगल वाला. अभी ये रोल नहीं होगा, हाँ, because it will take some time to load. Oh, it's rolling. Good. चलो, खुला है. So let's see. Some madam principal photos will be there. Okay. So, okay. Now pay attention. Okay. What it is. See. ये हमारे टीचर्स ऐसे होते थे. TGT, PGT. PGTs are 12 में जो पढ़ाते हैं. Post graduate. Okay. TGT is teacher strand. So they have all done. They have done so much of hard work for you. So annual examination marking scheme is there. Then percentage is there. This is 22, 23, but questions remain the same. Now see chapter wise. ये सब तुम्हारा काम है करना. तुम लोग बैठ के क्या करो, वही करते रहो. डैश एंड डैश टिकटॉक वीडियोस. यहाँ बरका. हाँ. क्या क्या स्टेटस मारा था? स्टिल लिविंग ना क्या? What was his status? First class status मारा था ना? Okay, see this question. Some crystals of copper sulfate were dissolved in water. Some crystals of copper sulfate, the same question, dissolved in water. The color of the solution obtained will be blue because copper sulfate itself is anhydrous. पानी में जाते ही पानी पिया hydrous. ठीक है? When zinc pieces are added to dilute HCl taken in a tube, then no change takes place. No, zinc can replace hydrogen. A pungent smelling gas gets liberated. No, not. Color of the solution becomes yellow. No. Small bubbles of H2 appear on the zinc surface. Yes, that's more important. Okay. So ऐसा करके ये जो book है ना, इसमें भर भर के questions है. इसके अलावा जो मैं आपको एक और चीज दूंगा, that is my compilation, and that will be in कुठे गेला? Chemical reactions. नहीं, this one. So this is a word file which will only have some links. ये 3 link है. After doing this, you will almost want to scratch my face. This is enough. After doing this, still if you say that, sir, I didn't get one single common question, then both of us must have done some sin in our past life. हम दोनों ही पापी हैं. होना नहीं चाहिए. Understood? ये जब खोलने से ये अपने आप खुलता जाएगा, case study and all these things. We will meet again in next class. ऐसा नहीं, आपको मिल जाएगा. You'll get this doc. So ऐसे करके भी क्या करोगे? This is a link. अच्छा, iPhone.
Apple.
Oh, Apple. I didn't know that. Ours is orange, na. So what you should do in this is, we'll take our next class. We'll still spend one more class. Science आराम से जाएंगे. One more class we will be doing. But there's a biology content out here. तुम्हारा hereditary life process. वो सब इससे control and coordination 4 ही तो chapter है. ठीक है? Enough. You understand what is to be done.